The Message, translated by Harold Kebba, produced by hearstories. The original recordings I have described here were found 1986 on the answering machine of a woman called Charlotte. Only few people knew of them and their implications, as she was afraid of getting admitted to a mental institution. Apparently, the message was recorded by her friend, Brian. The police was called back then, but they never found out what exactly happened to the young man. Hey Charlotte, it's me. I know that it's late, but I have had strange dreams again. You told me to call you if I ever needed someone to talk to. I have been thinking a lot about dreams lately. Dreams are not always what they seem. Sometimes they are the most beautiful creations of our minds. Sometimes they are terrible constructs, lusting for our souls, trying to consume us. And sometimes they are something entirely different. In some cases, I think, dreams seem to not originate from this world, as they are too grotesque and distorted to even be remotely understandable. I can't believe that I just experienced one of those. I experienced a nightmare that shook me to the bone and will never leave my soul in peace again. A dream that took something indescribable from me. Perhaps telling you about it will make things better. I just need to get it off my chest, Charlotte. Let's see, how did it start? Yes, visiting Joachim. You know that I am not often at his place. Well, almost never. German literature is a time-consuming subject and doesn't allow me to relax very often, making me long for my friends on many occasions. That is probably why I dreamt of visiting Joachim on an evening in late autumn, intending to spend some time with him. After we had exchanged greetings, we sat down on his couch and ate some great pizza he had ordered, dreaming of old days. Time passed and the sun already began to set when the phone started ringing. I wondered about the late call, and Joachim seemed to be confused as well. He took the handset to his ear, listening tensely. I looked at the big fish tank he has. You know which one I'm talking about. Observing the fish swimming through muddy water. It did not take long, however, until sudden cursing distracted me. Joachim had put away the handset, his eyes glimmering strangely. That was Melanie on the phone. She sounded nervous and said that something odd was going on at her house. She asked us to come by immediately. Let's take my car. His words were drenched in peculiar determination and sinister emphasis. Have I ever told you about Melanie? I don't think so. She was a friend of mine back in primary school. Don't really have much to do with her anymore, though she never had been one to get agitated quickly. That is why we hurried to the hallway to fetch our jackets. Afterwards, we immediately set out into the dark night outside. Joachim had parked his car on the driveway. It was an old VW Beetle, its body already heavily corroded by time. We got in and Joachim slowly started driving. While the Beetle's spotlights illuminated the country road leading to our friend's home, the full moon was visible, making the young night a bit brighter. I couldn't help but wonder what exactly Melanie's words had meant. Something odd was going on. What did she mean by that? There are many stories about strange things, but something supernatural couldn't have happened, right? Probably everything was a lot more harmless than the call had implicated. Had I only known back then what was waiting for me, I would have kicked open the car door and thrown myself out and into the darkness, as everything I could possibly encounter there would not have been as bad as the happenings that I was getting into in those moments. The Beetle rushed through the night, and after a short while we reached a little forest in which the mansion of Melanie's parents was located. She still lived there, even after finishing school, making money by running some startup online business. When looking through the dirty windows of the Beetle, I sometimes imagined seeing shades in the dark, though I knew that they were just the distorted shadows of some bushes. After having driven through the little forest for some time, the trees gave way to a clearing. In its center, a big mansion sat, feeling hunted, made from wood in an age-long past. We left the car and started walking towards the building. Melanie came running from inside the house, sprinting across the porch and down the stairs in front, her face marked by unknown terror. "They're coming," was all she could say, her body trembling. I looked her in the eyes and saw the remainders of a horror she must have faced just now. What had frightened her this much? I just wanted to turn around and run away, away from the mansion and the forest. I did not want to have anything to do with this matter. Sometimes you have to be a coward to survive. Joachim could surely settle things on his own. He had been trying to get closer to Melanie for over a year anyway. At least that is what I dreamt. Funny, as they both don't know each other in real life. I turned my back to the mansion and started walking along the road, my feet guiding me directly towards the saving exit at the edge of the forest. But when I had almost reached the thicket, I had to realize that the road leading out of the forest had vanished. A wall of dark pines rose up in front of me. At my feet, the gravel that had shown me a way out just moments ago. The road led from the mansion up to the trees, but beyond those, nothing. Nothing. Only darkness. I turned around again to look for my friends, but they were gone. Fear crept into my mind as I searched the mansion with my eyes. I felt alone, lost, as if I was the only human being left in this world. The loneliness made me tremble. Additionally, the forest in my back seemed to try to crush me. And then it happened. I felt a gruesome, clinging grip at my ankle. When the hand touched me, my heart almost stopped beating. I hadn't heard anything, and despite that, something was relentlessly pulling at my foot. I refused to turn around and look at my attacker directly. What unspeakable nightmare might be waiting for me? What rotting creature? What festering undead? What creeping demon might gaze at me after I turned my head around and looked down to the ground? My mind rebelled, and my brain threatened me with the most gruesome visions it could conjure up. Yet, something inside me also demanded to not heed the warnings, demanded to look. So I turned around and could see a blurry shape on the ground. I wasn't able to see it clearly, Charlotte. I fell down, a tree root digging itself into my back. The creature still held my ankle and started creeping over my body towards my face. When I tried to get more detail, my eyes refused to work, and the being appeared as a blind spot in my field of view. Without thinking, I lifted my free foot and kicked into the void, mustering up all the strength I had left. There was a loud bang, and the creature fell to the side, its body broken in half. Apparently, it had been destroyed, though I was not sure how exactly I managed it. Did I beat it? Its grip lost its power, and I could get free from the hand, starting to get away from the lifeless being as fast as I could. To my horror, the thing was suddenly whole again, starting to crawl in my direction. I turned around and ran, whilst pure fear got hold of my thoughts. Suddenly, a wooden, clattering sound came from deep within the forest, then another, and another. Slowly, more and more shapes started appearing between the pine trees, crawling towards me. They were starting to come from other places as well, closing in relentlessly. When I finally reached the mansion's doors, the creatures were only a few steps behind me. Pulling at the doorknob frantically, I only narrowly managed to escape into the building. After the door had snapped shut again, the clattering sounds stopped at once. Relieved, I pressed myself against the thick wood. Having calmed down a bit, I walked through the hallway and into the old kitchen. Melanie's mom sat at the dining table, where I had eaten many delicious meals a long time ago. She looked up when I entered the room, emotionless, only saying in a surprised, dampened voice, "They are here as well." Immediately I could hear the horrid clattering again, coming from upstairs this time. There were stomping, crawling steps. Through the open kitchen door, I could look into the hallway, seeing the foot of the staircase. I wanted to ask Melanie's mother for help, but she was gone. I was alone. I was unprotected. I couldn't stop them. I heard and saw in terror a being crawling down the stairs. This time it was clearly visible to me. but I do not have the right words to describe it aptly. It appeared to be made out of wood. However, the four limbs did seem irregular and not fitting together. Where its head should have been, only a spherical, meaty mass was swinging back and forth. From the body there were sprouting disgusting, ulcerous bumps, and driven deeply into its headpiece was a big wooden nail. It came down the stairs, seemingly held up by invisible strings. The creature looked like a puppet being played by atrocious, unseen figures. The terror I felt when seeing that being felt like being caused by something not remotely connected to our world. It came closer, giving off its clattering sounds with every step until it had reached me. "What is this? What are you?" I screamed at the thing. "You are dreaming," the creature sneered in a demented, eerie way. "You are dreaming. We are the Marquettes. We are all the unfinished thoughts of yours, the failed attempts of your mind." I was dreaming. Finally I realized it. If that was the case, I wanted to wake up. After all, it was all just a nightmare. I could escape from the creature's clutches. I could flee. All those strange happenings had a rational explanation. It was just a dream. I had to wake up, but I couldn't. The thing came even closer, its head only centimeters away from my face. The world got foggy. Darkness surrounded me. I am lying in my bed right now. I really have to calm down, but I can't, Charlotte. The memories of the dream alone terrify me. But it is over. The nightmare is over. Or was it something different? Charlotte, it felt so different. Like something beyond a nightmare. There is still sweat on my forehead, on my back. My heart is beating like mad. I am exhausted. I have switched out the lights after I called you, hoped that talking to the phone might make me sleepy. It did not. Now, the darkness surrounding me is getting more and more disturbing. I should switch on the lamp again to escape the dark, but I am also afraid that something might be here in my room with me. If I switch on the light, I might see it. Oh, Charlotte, I'm such a loser. How can this shake me up so much? No, I have to turn it on. What is going on? Charlotte, the lamp, it won't turn on. Why is there a power outage right now? Why, Charlotte, why? I have to stay calm. That is what you would tell me if you were here. Oh, I am so sorry to bother you with this. But I have never been this scared before. I should take some deep breaths. What? Charlotte, I can see the room despite the darkness. The furniture's shadowy shapes look menacing, and the silence, it is gonna crush me. What is pulling at my blanket? Charlotte, I can't hold on to it. Where is this pull coming from? Oh, God, what? Charlotte, what is it doing here? Why is it sitting there? Why is this creature, this half-finished thought from inside my mind, sitting at the foot of my bed? This accursed glittering, this malformed body. It took my blanket. I am unprotected, Charlotte. Charlotte, it is getting closer. It is so heavy. Where is it taking me? Help me, please help me. Where is it taking me? No, not there, please. Not there. Help me, please. Not there, not there.